y'all, it's Brandon with Voodoo Forge. Now I've got a Reed Manufacturing Company number 32 Vise that's over 105 years old. I bought it for 40 bucks down in Florida, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years ago. I don't know, long time. It's been laying around. I gotta get this thing back in action. I'm building a new table in the shop, so let's get this thing going. Here's what we got. We've got a Reed number 32. This vise has 4-inch jaws. It was made in 1917, so it is at least 105 years old. It is in good working condition, but it is rough. It's pitted. It's got some deep pits in some places. So first thing we're going to do is take this joker apart. The swivel base design on this vise has a shaft that passes all the way through your workbench, and that's what you use to lock and unlock it. So I've got to kind of have it this funky spot on the workbench just to take it apart. Everything moves pretty free on this. WD-40. It's been sitting a minute. Let's see if it'll... Oh man, that eased right off of there. No problem at all. There. There we go. Such an interesting locking system. Apparently, from what I can see online, a lot of these vices that are still around are missing the swivel base, and people have just drilled holes in them and made them stationary vise. This hole right here is how we are going to drive out that pin right there that is holding the nut for the screw, the threaded piece, in. It's in a dovetail that's machined in there. And that little pin's holding it in. It's very goopy in there, so I have put some WD-40 on it. We're going to let it sit for a minute. Whoop, I got her. Now we just need to drive that out from the other side. This thing is packed with grease. This vise would have had pipe jaws that went in under the regular jaws and were held in here, but I'm not worried about that because I have a pipe vise in the shop. There we go. Whew. Yeah, I brought the screw out here and sprayed it down with some degreaser, let it sit for a little while. Well, our vise is in 2 piles of 5 parts each. Originally, I was going to clean this with a wire wheel and clean everything. I degrease it and clean everything and scrub on it and love on it. And I think the easiest thing to do is take this pile of 5 parts and have it sandblasted. Make sure he knows not to sandblast the threads on here, and I've put a nut in here to protect the threads. I don't know if any of that's necessary. I'll talk to him when I get down there. These 5 parts, on the other hand, I'm going to clean those up with a wire brush. But if you want to see me cleaning one with a wire wheel and doing all that, I'll put a video up here of me doing that already. So I degreased these guys. Gonna hit them with the wire brush, and I made a discovery. I can't tell if somebody has repaired this thing before. I don't know if this is an original part. It looks a lot to me like a piece of cast pipe that somebody has cut and threaded and put in there, but if it's working, it's going to go back in there, and it'll work till it won't. So I'm going to wire brush this stuff real quick. Okay, everything's cleaned up. Now right here, you see that little thing there that looks like a crack? Yeah, scared me too. Just a little line in the casting. It is not a crack. Well, just got it back from the sandblaster. He had it 24 hours and was done with it. It's Coatings LLC in Liberty, Tennessee. I'll put his contact information in the description. So he does sandblasting, powder coating. There are a few things on this I want to clean up, and there's a mystery. You Vise nerds are gonna have to tell me. I believe this may be a repair. If it is, this is the best Vise repair I've ever seen. Maybe a little bit of weld there. I'm gonna hit that with the wire brush and see if that's brazed, but it looks like there are flathead screws right here. And flathead screws don't go there. So that is a mystery. This will give you an idea of how pitted this thing is. I'm gonna clean this up a little more. I've got a pretty worn 120 grain flap disc. I'm going to go over this real quick with that and then start on those wheels. Well, I went over it with that old flap disc and got it down to the original machining marks. So I guess I'm not going to use those weird polishing wheels. They'll hang out on the wall a little longer. To be honest, I think we kind of reached the point. I'm just wiping everything down with acetone. Get ready to paint it, but I mean, there's nothing coming off. Before I paint this, I want to use transfer punches to mark the holes on the table where I'm going to mount this. I'll show you a trick for this big center hole. I clearly don't have a transfer punch that's going to fit in there, so I fished around in my sockets until I discovered a 1-inch socket that fits, and I can use that to center punch it and get my mark. Originally they were painted black, but I'm going with Oliver green. I know some of the hardcore restoration guys are probably pooping their pants at my masking job right now. But just keep in mind, this is not a restoration. This is just to get it painted and back in the shop. We're going to let this dry for a little while, and then I'll put another coat or two on. Well, I ended up putting on 3 coats of paint, and I really like the way this implement paint went on. Trying to just accent the lettering here. And I am using a paint pen this go around for this. These letters are pretty beat up as is. I never found out if this collar here is original. So if you know, let me know down in the comments. I would appreciate it. Guess what I forgot? This is the table it's going to go on, but I have not fabricated the legs yet, so this is just a dry run, test fit type situation. By the way, I don't know if this shaft is original or been replaced, but somebody ground a couple of flats onto it, so that was a good idea. Okay, I'm gonna need a bushing for this. Well, this is just a piece of 1-inch ID Schedule 40. I will keep my eye open for something a little thicker walled with more of a 5/8 ID to make permanent, but this will do for now. Well, y'all, here it is, and it is not a showpiece 100% restoration, but it wasn't meant to be. This is going right back into service, and it's been sitting on the floor of my shop for, I don't know, 3 years. That's enough. Time to get it back working, and she's back working. It's going to be in a part of the shop where I don't have a vise handy, so that is a good thing. I really like the way this implement paint, this paint I put on it is for farm implements. I really like the way it came out. It looks pretty good. There's only 2 things about this that give me any pause. The only thing on the vise itself is this handle is so pitted. It's just going to drive me nuts. I think it's structurally sound, you know, but it's just going to drive me nuts. So eventually I'm going to have to make a new bar. I don't know. Maybe I'll cut the balls off and tap and thread them, or maybe just, I don't know. But we'll see what happens there. The other thing is the sandblasting. As happy as I was to get it cleaned immediately without having to breathe all that stuff, I just don't like the sandblasted finish on the parts that I didn't paint. And so if I sandblast one again, which I got 2 more vices I got to redo, but if I sandblast one again, I think I'll probably see if we can we can't mask those up. I don't know. I'll figure something out, because I just don't like that gray finish. Maybe I'll have to polish it out or something. I don't know. But anyway, I hope y'all got something from this, and y'all behave yourselves.